On Global TV News Prime, President Bola Tinubu dissolves Property Privatization Committee. In business, Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority seeks investment to transform West Africa's energy sector. And on the foreign scene, rising impute cows threaten farming in Sudan. And in sport, Confederation of African Football urges members to review FIFA's private investor plan. Hello and welcome to all around the world. World News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276 and Free TV. President Bola Tinubu has approved the immediate dissolution of the Presidential Implementation Committee on the alienation of federal government properties, a 25-year-old body established under former President Olusegun Obasanjo. In a statement announcing the directive, Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, says the dissolution take effect from November 5, 2025, and that the committee's Eastwell Secretary, B.S. Dunsin Mba, has been directed to immediately cease acting on behalf of the committee and the federal government on all related matters. The presidency says the decision follows a careful review that found the committee had extended its activities beyond its original mandate, resulting in multiple litigation across the country. The Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, has called for urgent federal government intervention following the devastating impact of gully erosion in Bente local government area of Abia State. The disaster has reportedly swallowed more than 10 houses and displaced scores of residents in the affected Uzokoli and Uzuetem communities. Kalu, alongside officials from the Ecological Project Office, toured the affected sites for an emergency assessment, describing the situation as beyond the capacity of the Abia State government. He urged the National Emergency Management Agency and the Ecological Project Office to fast-track intervention, noting that the erosion has expanded significantly since an earlier request for federal assistance was submitted. The federal government says Nigeria's ambition to achieve defense self-reliance can only be realized by investing in skilled manpower capable of driving indigenous military production. The Minister of State for Defense, Dr. Bello Matawali, made this known at the Daikon Institute of Technology in Kaduna. Kikelomo Okere has the details.
The Minister of State for Defense, Dr. Bello Matawali, says the newly inaugurated Daikon Institute of Technology is a major step towards building a technological-driven and self-reliant defense industry. He says the institute will produce a new generation of engineers, technologists, and technicians equipped to design, develop, and maintain locally manufactured military hardware while reducing Nigeria's dependence on imported defense equipment. He says the institution will integrate academic excellence with practical training, research, and innovation to support the country's expanding defense manufacturing capacity.
This institute is a legacy project conceived with a vision of equipping our nation with the needed technical expertise required to design, develop, and sustain the platform and system that guarantee our national security.
Dr. Matawali reaffirmed the federal government's resolve to deepen investment in research, innovation, and strategic partnership to accelerate local defense production. He expressed confidence that the institution will emerge as a national hub for defense technology, innovation, and advanced military manufacturing.
I assure you of the federal government's continued support for DACON and this institution in line with the new hub agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. GCFR will continue to provide the necessary support, enabling environment, policy direction, and the resources to ensure that DACON and the institute deliver on their mandates.
Director General of Defense Industry Corporation of Nigeria, Major General Babatunde Ayala, says the institute has received regulatory approval from the National Board for Technical Education and has been listed by the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board. He says the programs are uniquely structured to connect classroom learning with DICON's production lines, ensuring graduates acquire industry-ready skills that will directly strengthen Nigeria's military-industrial complex.
I pledge that this institute will be fully integrated into the corporation's drive to become the nucleus of Nigeria's defense industry, so that research will translate into products on the factory floor and in the field.
Beyond commissioning a new institution, the federal government says it is laying the foundation for a defense industry powered by Nigerian expertise, homegrown innovation, and indigenous military production. Kike Lomo Ukeri, Global TV News.
The Nigerian Police Force has explained why it could not produce the self-acclaimed Director General of the alleged Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Council before the House of Representatives ad hoc committee investigating the controversial body. The police says their system respects and remains in custody under a valid federal High Court order. National Assembly correspondent Aniete Patrick reports.
The Nigerian Police Force says it is unable to comply with the House Committee's directive to produce the self-acclaimed Director General of the alleged Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Council, Prince Adeyemi Adeniyi, because he is currently being held under a valid order of the Federal High Court. Representing the Inspector General of Police, Deputy Commissioner of Police Olufemi Akinola told the committee that the police would require a reproduction warranty from the court before presenting the suspects before lawmakers. The investigation followed submissions by the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Budget Office of the Federation, and other government agencies, all of which disowned the purported council.
As it is so, in order for us to be able to continue to relate well, we are of the opinion that the Honorable Committee Chairman, as well as the committee members, could seek or avail us a reproduction warrant, sir.
Chairman of the ad hoc committee, Representative Yusuf Gadi, accepted the police explanation, assuring members that the committee would obtain the necessary court order to enable the suspects appear before the panel, as investigations continue into the legality and activities of the council.
The committee has respected the judicial process and has proceeded with its assignment within the confines of the law. Based on the documentary evidence obtained during the investigation and engagement with the relevant government institution, the committee has uncovered what appears to be extensive act of document forgery, and we will do further confirmation in-house.
Meanwhile, the House Committee on South-South Development Commission has begun consultations with stakeholders on a bill seeking to strengthen the Commission's funding. Committee Chairman Julius Pondi said the proposed amendment is designed to provide a sustainable funding framework to accelerate development across the South-South region.
To strengthen the financial framework of the South-South Development Commission by expanding its sources of funding to enable it to discharge more effectively its statutory responsibility of facilitating the sustainable development of the South-South region.
However, while regulators and all industry operators endorsed the Commission's developmental mandates, they rejected a proposed 3% levy on the annual budget of all companies, warning that it could increase operational costs, duplicate existing statutory obligations, and discourage investments. From the National Assembly, Aniete Patrick, Global TV News.
Raising the total number of illegal weapons permanently removed from circulation to about 19,000. This is as the government warned arms traffickers that every weapon in their possession would eventually be traced and destroyed. The destruction exercise organized by the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons at the Mohammed Buhari Cantonment formed part of the government's effort to curb proliferation of illicit weapons, fueling terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and other violent crimes across the country. The All Support Groups Network for All Progressive Congress APC, in collaboration with the Progress Institute, have described reform by President Bola Tinubu as bold, necessary, already yielding positive result for the country. The group stated this at a press conference held at the Progressive Institute in Abuja, where they intend to mobilize 27 million votes and pre-launch a book for President Bola Tinubu's 3 years achievements. Sadatu Garba has the details.
Addressing stakeholders at the press conference, the All Supporter Groups Network for APC, powered by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Dr. George Akume, highlighted the current administration's achievements over the past 3 years. The Director General of the Progressive Institute, Dr. Lanre Adebayo, described the President's decision to remove fuel subsidy as a strategic move that has strengthened government revenue, improved fiscal stability, and enhance the capacity of both the federal and state governments to deliver development projects and public services.
Have more resources to function, thanks to those painful policy decisions that were taken by the President at his inauguration. He ensured that local government autonomy was guaranteed. He didn't fight this with the governors. He went to the Supreme Court to say, look, our constitution guarantees local government autonomy. Please let us know the interpretation. And the Supreme Court judged or decided that, look, that should be the case. Local government should enjoy financial autonomy and autonomy in all fronts. And the essence of that is to ensure that local government can impact on the lives of the people at the grassroots.
The supporter group also pre-launched a book documenting what they described as the president's key achievements in his first 3 years in office. They noted that a nationwide grassroots structure will be deployed to ensure Nigerians at the community level understand the policies and achievements of President Bola Tinubu's administration. As the 2027 general election comes forth, the group expressed confidence that the coalition's nationwide structure will play a significant role in securing the targeted 27 million votes for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Saadatu Garba, Global TV News.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime. News Prime continues after this weather forecast plus business, foreign, and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us.
Hello there. And so we had reports of ample rainfall from the south and northern part of the country. Areas with highest rainfall distribution are highlighted in red coloration. And so we expect a slight dip in rainfall events as the atmosphere tries to garner fresh energy for another round of rains. But that won't be for Friday. As we expect mostly the skies with intervals of sunshine. Over the southwest, we're already observing telltale signs of the August break, even though it's not fully established yet. Very light rains are probable over the coast of the south and the inland areas of the south is where we expect thunderstorms with moderate rains over the extreme northern part of the country. Some of these storms could trickle into parts of Plateau, Nassau, and the Federal Capital Territory in the central states, though not with much intensity as over the northern part of the country.
Welcome back from that break. Now in business, the Nigerian Mainstream Endorsing Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA, has intensified efforts to position West Africa as a transparent and competitive petroleum pricing and trading hub. Chief Executive of the NMDPRA, Rabiu Abdullahi Umar, made this known While addressing journalists on the forthcoming West African Regulators Forum conference in Abuja, Kike Lomo Okere has the details.
The Chief Executive, Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Rabiu Abdullahi, says Nigeria can no longer afford to have the prices of its petroleum commodities determined outside the continent. He noted that greater investment infrastructure, logistics and regional collaboration is key to unlocking the region's energy potentials. He added that the vision is to establish a credible West African pricing and trading hub that reflects regional market realities while attracting investment and strengthening energy security.
Is to establish West Africa as a credible regional marketplace where petroleum products can be traded efficiently, transparently, and competitively. By strengthening infrastructure, harmonizing regulations, and improving market data, the region can enhance price discovery, facilitate cross-border trade, and attract greater investment.
The chief executive noted that the conference, which is in collaboration with S&P, will focus on mobilizing investment for critical infrastructure, including pipelines, storage facilities, marine terminals, refinery, digital trading platforms, and logistic corridors needed to build an integrated regional petroleum market. The authority chief says efficient infrastructure remains central to improving market transparency, lowering supply costs, facilitating cross-border trade, and enhancing energy security across the region.
Is to have a very resilient system with the infrastructure to make sure that we have enough at the right time and we have it at the right price. And that way we are going to be able to at least sustain and stabilize the market. That's why countries invest in the infrastructure and actually the capital to ensure you have enough reserves in your country. And that's what we are working on. Yeah.
For the NMDPRA, building a transparent regional pricing system backed by world-class infrastructure is not only critical to attracting investment, but also essential to securing Africa's place in the global energy market. Kike Lomo Okere, Global TV News.
The World Trade Organization Director General Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has called for urgent reforms to strengthen the global trading system as its long-term stability depends on modernizing outdated trade rules and institutions. She made this known at the opening of the 7th African Emerging Market Forum in Abuja. Again, Kike Lomo Okere has the details.
World Trade Organization Director General Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala says ongoing WTO reform efforts will focus on improving transparency, making decisions more agile, addressing subsidy concerns, supporting development economies, and creating new rules for digital trade, artificial intelligence, and green commerce. According to her, reform is essential to preserve a rule-based global trading system and prepare it for future challenges. Okonjo-Iweala also urged African countries to capitalize on growing demand for critical minerals by moving beyond exporting raw materials to building regional value chain and adding value through local processing and manufacturing.
Needs to continue the work on overall macroeconomic reforms with a careful approach to fiscal issues, contracting of debt, and debt management.
She commended Nigeria's monetary reform under Central Bank of Nigeria's Governor Olayemi Cardoso, saying macroeconomic stability is vital to attracting investment and positioning the countries to benefit from emerging global trade opportunities.
Let me conclude by noting that these two paths to global trade resilience, reforming the multilateral trading system and broadening the global economic base, are deeply complementary.
The governor of Central Bank, Olayemi Cardoso, urged African nations and other emerging economies to lead the evolving global economic order, noting that the continent must move beyond merely adapting to global changes.
The Continental Free Trade Area provides the platform and opportunity to turn this global shift to an African advantage. But we must go beyond the agreements and remove the practical barriers to trade by improving transport networks.
Speaking on Nigeria's reform agenda, the CBN governor says the Apex Bank has focused on improving transparency, ensuring policy consistency, and reinforcing institutional accountability as part of effort to rebuild investors' confidence and entrench macroeconomic stability.
The anxiety surrounding the changing global economic order is real, and we've heard it. But disruption also creates opportunity.
With calls for WTO reforms gaining momentum, stakeholders says Africa's ability to leverage its vast resources, strengthen regional trade, and sustain economic reform will be crucial to securing a stronger voice in the global marketplace. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global TV News.
Nigeria's Agricultural Research Institute have renewed calls for increased investment in innovation, research, and strategic partnership to accelerate food production, create jobs, and strengthen the nation's food security. The call came during Nigeria Day at the 9th African Agricultural Science Week, where universities, colleges of agriculture, and research institutes showcase indigenous technologies designed to transform agriculture and improve farmers' livelihood. Anita Patrick reports.
Agricultural stakeholders say homegrown innovations remain critical to addressing Nigeria's food security challenges and unlocking sustainable economic growth. Speaking during a presentation on the success stories of agricultural innovations, the Vice Chancellor of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Professor Olushola Kehinde, said agricultural institutions have evolved into innovation hubs, developing practical solutions to farmers' challenges through research and technology. Kehinde highlighted breakthroughs in cassava processing, maize value addition, horticultural preservation, biotechnology, and digital agriculture, noting that farmers adopting the university's technologies have recorded significant increases in productivity and income. Also speaking, the representative of Provost of Colleges of Agriculture, Professor Jonathan Atsugu, described agricultural institutions as catalysts for national development, urging stronger collaboration among governments, research institutes, and private sector to commercialize innovations.
Try the sense that we produce for the universities, we also produce for the research institute. What you have in major laboratories, in the universities, and in the research institutes, products of the colleges of agriculture, more or less.
Executive Director of the Nigerian Institute of Horticulture, Professor Mohammed Atanda, showcased indigenous technologies, including a mechanized yam mold making machine capable of producing over 2,600 yam molds daily, alongside post-harvest innovations such as solar dryers, ice fish boxes, and hermetic storage systems designed to reduce food losses and improve farmers' earnings.
We are also to enhance agricultural productivities, ensure food security, and drive economic growth.
Stakeholders say expanding investments in research, innovation, and technology adoption will be key to achieving sustainable food security, creating employment, and driving Nigeria's agricultural transformation. Anita Patrick, Global TV News.
And on the foreign scene, farmers in Sudan say soaring fertilizer and fuel prices are forcing many to abandon their fields, raising fears of lower food production and worsening food insecurity. Many growers blame the sharp increase in production costs on whether be the economic impact of the conflict involving Iran, saying farmer is becoming increasingly unsustainable. The United States has carried out what it described as a heavy wave of retaliatory strike against Iran after Tehran launched missile at American military base in Jordan. President Donald Trump warned that Washington would respond forcefully at the latest escalation. And now in sport, the Confederation of African Football has called on its members to review FIFA's controversial plan to sell off stakes in its major competitions, including the World Cup, Football's world governing body announced plans to create a commercial subsidiary to run its biggest events such as the World Cup and Cup World Cup. First says under the proposal, private investors would be allowed to acquire stakes in the company but would remain monetary shareholders. As Global TV News Prime comes to an end, let's take a look at our top stories. President Bola Tinubu has approved the immediate dissolution of Presidential Implementation Committee on Arbitration Federal Government Properties. And in business, the Nigerian Midstream Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA, has intensified efforts to position West Africa as transparent and competitive petroleum pricing and trading hub. And on the foreign scene, we told you that farmers in Sudan say soaring fertilizer and fuel prices are forcing many to abandon their fields. And that's it. And of course, on Global Television News Prime for you today. Before we go, a quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, Star Times 276, and Free TV. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. I am Bramsey Enoch Agbo. Thank you for watching.